When people think about violence, many times they think about physical violence. And the principle here is saying that we must be prepared to understand that internal violence is just as detriment. We may be able to not see the blows or see the physical wounds, but nevertheless there are scars that are so deep. In fact, Martin Luther King said himself, sometimes the psychological scars that people suffer take longer to heal than the physical wounds that leave scars. And this is true for the individual, intrapersonal, as well as the external person who might be party to the conflict. And sometimes people say things that are much more harmful than a fist on the head or a stick on the head. It may temporarily give you a headache, but the internal things that happen to people when folks speak to them in such a manner can be a permanent headache in terms of their spirit never getting repair. So the internal violence is something that we must be aware of, and we must avoid that, because that's damage that also represents violence. So it's not violence that you see immediately, but it's violence that's manifested through a person's behavior, and that could be long-term. When we allow ourselves to harbor hate, we do internal damage to ourselves. And Martin Luther King was certainly aware and would admonish people to be aware of the fact that when we harbor hate towards others, we also hate ourselves simultaneously. In fact, we do more harm to ourselves. And it's like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. And what we don't realize is that a little few minutes of anger can shut down the immune system for hours, and which means we're more susceptible to dis-ease. And many violent acts that people commit against others really stem from the fact that they've been harboring hate, not even for the person who's the victim of that particular attack, but it could be harboring hate for other experiences that they have encountered, and they simply sublimate that and exacerbate that towards other individuals. So sometimes people say, well, why did you get angry with me and explode? Well, the explosive material was already there. It was not created by that particular incident, but it was certainly manifested in that way because of the accumulation of the hate towards maybe others and those experiences. So they end up getting the explosion, but it's not the genesis of the explosion. It might be the precipitation of it in some way. So we must recognize that, Martin Luther King says, don't participate in that.